So, what is philosophy? As seen, philosophy can mean different things like the beliefs and concepts and attitudes of a group or individual, or an attitude towards life, especially calmness. These different meanings, of course, are related to the history of philosophy, to the different schools and the different branches of philosophy as a discipline related to knowledge. In etymology, philosophy means the pursuit of wisdom, from philos, dear, love, beloved, and sophia, wisdom, and shares the same root of sapere, taste, discern, commonly translated as knowing. There was not a goddess Sophia in ancient Greek. However, in some moment, there was a personification of Sophia as wisdom. So we have here wisdom, or Sophia, episteme, enoia, or reasoning, and arete, virtue. So Sophia has two different meanings. On one hand is the pursuit of wisdom by human means. And this is the origin of the word philosophy. But Sophia also represents other kind of wisdom, the divine or revealed wisdom. So Agia Sophia, Theosophy, Anthroposophy, and other words that employ Sophia in this sense is kind of reserved knowledge, and a knowledge that is not taken by the senses, but is kind of revelation, or the soul catches this. In Plato, we have these two different meanings. On one hand, in the dialogues of Plato, Socrates is a human, is asking questions to reach the knowledge. But in some dialogues, Socrates explains that at the end, it is the soul and not the senses, the ones that can obtain knowledge. Senses can obtain what is called doxa, opinion, but knowledge is obtained through the soul. So we have this ambivalence in Plato use of philosophy. In the case of Aristotle, it is the pursuit of people, of knowledge, what is important. The senses, the reasoning, the human capabilities, what will determine knowledge. And this is the most important sense of philosophy, of course, through history and through, especially in this course of philosophy, or courses of philosophy taught at the school. However, we must not forget that there is this other meaning of Sophia as a different kind of knowledge. So Aristotle was the son of a physician, and he himself collected animals, plants, observed nature, and became the most important philosopher in antiquity. Uh, for Aristotle, it was the the senses, the form to obtain knowledge. However, senses obtain this information and is the reason what will determine if this is or not knowledge. Uh, so the correct reasoning is what will determine that we know or not. Um, in this antiquity in which the knowledge was not so specialized, an individual like Aristotle was able to write about astronomy, um, biology, physics, and logic, and metaphysics, and arts, etc. And philosophy, in this sense, the love for knowledge was concerned with any kind of knowledge and all the different social and natural phenomena that we confront. However, in the early modernity, things will change and science will start to specialize. The scientific method will be able to study specifically different kind of phenomena, will constitute different forms to approach astronomy and biology and chemistry and later psychology, etc., anthropology. And science as we understand today, based on testing, based on proof, will develop this scientific knowledge and different fields that in some moment were part of philosophy will become sciences. So astronomy is not more a concern of philosophers, sociology, psychology, physics, etc. So what is philosophy? What cannot be tested by um, uh, physical evidence. What science cannot answer became the field of philosophy. So the reflection about the knowledge in itself, the reflection about what is to exist, who exists, the reflection about the nature of human being, and other some branches is what remains as philosophy. What is beyond the capability of science to test remains as the field of philosophy. And even in this sense, in the 19th century, for example, when science after the Enlightenment was reaching a height, um, philosophy lost its its own characteristic. It became kind of organization of scientific knowledge, like in positivism. Remember that positive is the knowledge we can really prove, we can really test, and we are certain because of this. And for Auguste Comte, philosophy was no more than the organization and hierarchization of the scientific knowledge. L'amour pour principle et l'ordre pour base, le progrès pour but. So positivism, remember, was the ideology of bourgeoisie that opposed revolutions and was concerned with stability in society. Similar in this attitude related to science, Marxism also after the Enlightenment and influenced by the progress of science, considered that philosophy was again a kind of um, organization of scientific knowledge. The attitude of Comte and Marx, of course, are opposite. Marx wanted to change the society to eliminate capitalism, and the goal of philosophy, he said, was to transform world and not to explain the world. So the political use of this knowledge was the most important. And however, Marxism will have a scheme about the knowledge. It is based on this materialism. What exists is matter. There is no soul, there is no God, there is not entities beyond physical. All can be reduced to matter and interactions in atoms, molecules, etc. And Marxism is divided in two fields: the dialectic materialism that deals with nature, and the historical materialism that deals with society. And philosophy is kind of this theory of knowledge that is the base for scientific knowledge. So today, the most important is this part. Philosophers, of course, have to know what scientists do, what scientists know, and however they are able to go beyond these restrictions of the scientific method, the material proof, and of course it has other part. Answers of philosophy cannot be proven as answers of science. So we can have different answers from different schools of philosophy.